Check out Fox Laura Ingraham. Look, we mentioned this with Digby up front. The Republicans are pushing this culture war, and the Democrats are backing away from it, and it is a massive mistake. Laura Ingraham started her professional journalism career at Dartmouth College. I think she was working on the student newspaper, and she would out gay students. That was her journalistic project, outing gay students at Dartmouth. This was at a time where it was, many people were still in the closet because society was so viciously anti-gay, particularly I think this was during AIDS. And here is Laura Ingraham. The more things change, the more they stay the same for her. She is mad that people are pushing back on the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. Again, if you are gay and you are married, or you have a partner, you cannot reference this to children under the age of, what is it, 7, I think it is. It's absurd. It's absurd. Play this clip.
Get down with yourself, explore your own body. Masturbation is really healthy, and I recommend it to people of all ages. All ages. As soon as my nephews could talk, they were doing that.
This has been my first year in preschool with a class of my own, teaching alongside another queer neurodivergent educator, and we have been rocking our Choose class. We've been talking about gender and skin color and consent and empathy and our bodies and autonomy. It's been fabulous.
Oh my God. When did our public schools, any schools, become what are essentially grooming centers?
Pause it for 1 second. Now, first off, those two clips are not of people who are teaching at public schools, because we do not have universal pre-K in this country. But even if they were, notice the chyron. Liberals are sexually grooming elementary students. Now, I don't know what that means, sexually grooming, because the vast, overwhelming majority of these elementary students are going to grow up and be sexual. That's what happens with human beings. The vast, overwhelming majority of them, at least those that are well-adjusted, for the most part, end up being sexual in some fashion. So I don't know what sexually grooming means, but here she is.
Or gender identity radicals. As a mom, I think it's appalling, it's frightening, it's disgusting, it's despicable. Florida just passed a bill to keep this type of sexual brainwashing out of schools. Democrats, though, claim the bill is bigoted, branding it as the Don't Say Gay bill. Well,
pause it for 1 second.
The real controversy.
Pause it for 1 second. How do you think the Supreme Court ruling that gay people can get married will stand if what she's saying, that you cannot, it's disgusting to speak of gay people being married or having lovers, that it's outrageous, that it's wrong, that it's some form of grooming? I mean, this is the same stuff that she was peddling in the 80s when she was outing students as being gay, which is this notion that if you expose kids to gayness, that you're going to be converted into gay. I mean, understand, this is where this is going. This is not just about, if you can't say that you are legally married to someone, to 6-year-olds, because it's in some way despicable or whatever it is, how long do you think it is before they come from the right for the right to marry? Continue.
though, isn't this bill. It's that schools are peddling gender ideology when our international rankings in math, science, and reading are down across the board. Joining me now is Keisha King, Florida mother and executive director of Moms for America. Keisha, is this a battle that's turning what we used to call the soccer mom vote into the culture mom vote?
Well, Laura, I think what's happening is that parents are being pushed aside. It is changing culture, and it's definitely what I am seeing is that parents are not being considered when these ideologies and these changes are trying to be made. They want to take control of our children. That is definitely what I see when I see these types of this pushback for bills like this. I do not understand why teachers or administrators would come out so strongly against something as simple as saying we don't want sexual identity and gender identity to be taught to kids as young as 4 and 5 years old. This is simple.
Okay. We don't need any more of this. I mean, put up her last, put up that article that the last thing that she that Moms for America was about was literally. Go put this up. Oh, hold on. Put that up. She's worried about free speech in the CRT fight. She's worried about free speech. Don't put up the video. She's worried about free speech. But also now upset about the pushback on a law that says if you're a teacher, you cannot talk about the fact that you're married if you're gay. The bottom line is that sex ed teachers will tell you 6 years old is when you should be actually teaching your kids about actual sex, not just the idea that there is existence that men can marry men or men can love men or women can marry women or women can marry, can love women or that they can be partners, but actual like sex. That is not, it's age appropriate. Kids at that point are aware that babies do not come from storks. But this isn't a question of teachers going in there and talking about sex acts as much as it is about like, that's your body. You have autonomy over it. Men can love men. Women can love women. Women can love men. Men can love women. They just don't want to acknowledge the existence of gay people. They don't want to normalize it. They don't want to acknowledge its existence. They don't want to recognize that they have rights. That's what this is about. She's a bigot. And they're all on this. This is the most important thing that's happening in the country right now, is this sudden onslaught that the right seems to be aware of, that the gays are coming for our children. This is the same way that George Bush won his re-election in 2004. This is all they have. And the Democrats, the left, the liberals, whoever's in opposition to this, or the Republicans, should be making an example of Florida and Ron DeSantis and should be talking about it as much, if not more, than they're talking about it on the right. And Laura Ingraham has been on this beat for 40 years, since she was in college. 30 years.